You are in the temple of the rants where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Justin Manzi, who says, rant about how shit the even newer JonTron videos are. I know you already made a rant about Season 3, but whatever fucking season this is even worse. He's blatantly trying to recreate the success of his shitty, unfunny flex tape video now. So soulless, your thoughts. So I went and tried to watch some modern JonTron for the sake of this. And first of all, I agree about the flex tape video. Did not get it. Didn't see what was funny about it. He's just watching the flex tape ad and having really unfunny reactions to it. I mean, it felt like an H3H3 video, but even less organic or funny. I hate the camera work where for some reason there's like a handheld recording style that's like all over the place, even though he's like on a extremely lit set. So like you don't have the feeling of being like in a intimate space with him, but you have this weird intimate camera work. It's an odd combination. The zooms feel really forced, and like he always has to look away from the thing, look at the camera, look back. Like I just don't like the format of it. I don't think the things he says are funny. There's not really jokes. It's just kind of, again, reactions, but really canned reactions that feels like he was trying to find something to say about whatever had been said in the video, as opposed to it arising naturally as a reaction to something he saw, being like inspired. There's a part where he starts slapping the tape on stuff, and like, while I understand that the joke is sort of that in the flex tape videos, the guy just slaps it on stuff and it instantly fixes. JonTron slaps it on things and it doesn't work at all. But I was curious about whether you could even seal something with this tape. I mean, both instances he tries to cover up running water as opposed to a leak, which is a very different kind of scenario. So like, I kind of was hoping to actually see like some funny application of flex tape in realistic scenarios and whether or not it would work. That did not happen. I honestly, I didn't finish the video, so maybe it happened in the back half. I thought it was super unfunny. So then I tried to watch the workplace safety video, and it was the same kind of story. I mean, the video itself was funnier than JonTron's reactions to it in the first one. And then the second one, like the first one was unintentionally funny, and JonTron didn't do a good job of enhancing that comedy. And then the second video he watched was intentionally funny and funnier than his commentary on it. So I gave up on those. Then I went back to rewatch his Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts video, because that was the first one I ever saw from him. And, I remember it being like one of the classics. I remember it being pretty funny, so I went to go watch it again. And honestly, I don't think it's held up that well. I think early JonTron had a level of effort and quality put into it that was uncommon at the time. Doing all the live-action skits, the goofy voices and jokes and editing gags, like, there just wasn't a ton of content that was exactly like it. And I think a lot of the people who, copied him and took the ball and ran with it have just done a better job. I think that, the best thing about those older videos was usually the narrative that he crafted, and that was what made them engrossing. Like the Banjo-Kazooie video, it was, talking about the history of Rareware, how they were this great studio that made all these amazing games, being like a huge fan of Banjo-Kazooie, and then sort of having the rug pulled out from under you when you play this new sequel, that they hyped it as though it was going to be a proper one, but then it turns out to be this weird piece of shit game, and, cracking jokes along the way of telling that story. And even the video itself has a narrative about the game falling down from space, getting destroyed by Jacques, and like the logic of what happens in the live action scenes is super bizarre, and that's part of the comedy of it, is that there is a story to the video, but it's so weird and so random, I guess, that there is some comedy in that. But like, yeah, just most of John's comedy has just been in his delivery. Like, it's not that he so much writes great jokes or makes great observations as that the way he says things is funny and memorable, and it kind of gets into your head and you start saying things in that kind of way. Like, my favorite JonTron videos have always been his more conceptual ones. Like, I love the Malkovich's Gaming Game Show, or not the Gaming Game Show, but the one before that, Malkovich's Gaming Guilty Pleasures. the final hallway videos, just the stuff that was more of like a skit. And these newer ones where it's like reaction stuff, like I don't think his reactions are that funny. Occasionally he just says something in a funny enough way, but like it's not usually a joke. It's just like a dumb thing being said, a dumb facial expression. So yeah, I don't know. I would say most of his content is aged kind of badly for me, and like I don't feel the same way about say AVGN, where I both his new and old videos, I can still watch them and still find them funny because I just think that they put so much more focus on the narrative element, on like being more of a sincere review of a game, so that regardless of whether each joke hits or misses, you have that, at least that sense of, you're learning something, you're taking this journey with the nerd through this game, and the videos again always have a narrative to them, but also he's just a more clever writer. He has funny lingual jokes and just a more deft hand at the language. His videos are just more tightly crafted and thought through than a JonTron video. So like, yeah, I would say that John was, in many ways, I just think he was good for the time, and that now I see him as kind of washed up. But it's odd because his videos still get fuckloads of views. I mean, that Flex Tape video has 41 million views. I don't know why. Like, I literally don't know what about it was funny to people, because I was just kind of like, okay, what the hell is this? Like, this is boring. So, I don't know. Maybe I've outgrown it. It's hard to say, but I just think JonTron, I can't see myself. I mean, this was the first time I'd watched his videos in like years, aside from revisiting Malkovich's Gaming Guilty Pleasures again. But like, yeah, I was definitely like, man, I can't see watching this guy ever again at this point. He'd have to make something really incredible for me to be drawn back in. But like, even looking at his older videos, I think like some of the people he influenced, like Hypocrite or Best Guy Ever, both my friends who were big time influenced by JonTron, have long exceeded even what he did at his height. That's just my opinion, though. So, fuck it.